Question number 3. Roll number 10. Roll number 10. Okay, 11. 12.
What are the features of one-person company?
Okay, continue. Continue.
Briefly describe the steps for formation of a one-person company in the light of provision of the Companies Act 2013.
So whether the question is about features of OPC or about steps for formation of OPC, the answer will be same.
Features of OPC, steps to form OPC. Member of OPC.
So member of OPC, how many persons will act like member here? Only one person. Okay, can he become director? Can he become director? Yes, not mandatory, but he can become director also. He can take two roles, one as member, other as director. Then what eligibility criteria he need to meet? He must be a natural person. Artificial persons not allowed to become members. He must be Indian citizen. Foreign citizens not allowed. And he may be resident of India or otherwise. That means he may be resident or non-resident. So there is no problem in it. Then who is called as resident of India? He is a person who stayed in India for how many days? For at least 120 days when during immediately preceding financial year. But here whether you are resident or non-resident, so it doesn't matter. So that's why this rule is not at all relevant. Even though this is there in Act, but not relevant. Next one. What about nominee of OPC? So a member while creating OPC, he need to propose some other person's name as nominee. And when he will become member? When anything is happened to main member, then nominee will become member. Okay. Then what is required from nominee here? Prior written consent is required. So what is meant by consent? Giving acceptance. Written consent. So giving acceptance through a written form. And what is meant by prior written consent? Yes. Before becoming nominee, he need to give his consent to act like nominee. Is it possible to withdraw nominationship at later point of time? Yes. Is it possible for member to change the nominee? Yes, it is also possible. So change in the name of nominee. So can it be called as alteration of MOA? Because in case of MOA, there will be 6 clauses for normal companies, 7 clauses for one person company. So what is that extra clause? Nominee clause. Now you are changing nominee here. So can I call it as alteration of MOA? No, this is not alteration of MOA. So every change in MOA will be called as alteration only. But change of name of nominee is not an alteration. Next one, limits. So a person can become member only in one OPC. A person can become nominee only in one OPC. Is it possible to have both membership as well as nominationship? Yes, possible. Provided limit is maximum 1. Then what about the status of minor? Can he become member? No. Can he become nominee? No. Even for beneficial interest also, answer is no. Because in case of partnership firm, generally minor is not allowed. But for benefits of the partnership firm, he is allowed. But in case of OPC, even for beneficiary interest also, he is not allowed. Next one. Is it possible to convert OPC? Yes. Into private company or public company, but not into Section 8 company. Then what business OPC can carry? It can carry any business except to non-banking financial investment activities. which includes investment in securities of other companies or body corporates. Next one. And what are the exemptions that are provided to OPC? First of all, cash flow statement is not required. In case of board report, only single director signature will be sufficient. No need to conduct board meeting. And what about AGM? No need to conduct AGM. But there is a possibility of having board meeting when number of directors are at least 2, then board meeting is possible. If number of directors is only 1, board meeting is not possible. But for AGM, it is not at all possible. And what about the punishment? So if any OPC or its member or nominee, so if they fail to comply with these provisions, then the fine will be up to 10,000, not 10,000. It is up to 10,000. So what is the difference between 10,000 and up to 10,000? 10,000 means 10,000 only. Up to 10,000 means it may be 9,000, it may be 7,000, it may be 1,000 also. So what is the wording we need to use here? It is up to 10,000. That is extend to 10,000. And if you continue the default without rectifying it, then your penalty will get increased. Okay. Then what is the increased penalty now? Up to 1,000. Up to 1,000 per day. Say for example, if you delayed for 10 days. Now what is the punishment? 10,000. Up to 10,000 plus 1,000 into up to 1,000 into 10 days. So this will become the total punishment for you. So this punishment is applicable when you fails to comply with these provisions. So whatever we discussed till now, these provisions need to be complied. If you fail, you need to face this punishment. Continue.
Member of OPC. Only one person is a member. The member can be the sole member and director.
So it is can be. So what is meant by can be? May or may not. So if you want to become director, he can. Otherwise, he can appoint some other person as director.
He must be a natural person.
So here it is must. What does it indicate? Now it is mandatory. There is no option. He must be natural person. He must be Indian citizen. He may be resident or not.
An Indian citizen, and he may be resident of India or otherwise. Nominee of OPC. The memorandum of OPC shall indicate the name of the other person.
So in memorandum, where we can find the name of the nominee? In a clause called as nominee clause, and this clause is only applicable in case of OPC.
Who shall, in the event of the subscriber's death or his incapacity to
Yes,
contact.
when anything is happened to subscriber, nothing but member, then who will sit in that position? Nominee. So nominee will become member of that company.
Become the member of the company. The nominee shall give his prior written consent in prescribed form, and the same shall be filed with registrar at the time of incorporation.
Yes, at the time of incorporation, we need to give the particulars of nominee to the ROC. So for that purpose, we need to take the consent letter from nominee. Later, we need to file that consent letter with ROC at the time of incorporation, because at the time of incorporation, you will forward so many documents to ROC like MOA, AOA, some declarations. So along with those documents, you need to file consent letter of the nominee also.
Nominee may be given the right to withdraw his consent. The member of
Yes,
OPC,
if nominee want to discontinue, he can discontinue.
the member of OPC may at any time change the name of nominee.
If member want to discontinue the nominee, yes, it is also possible. So both ways it is possible. If nominee want to withdraw, he can withdraw. If member want to change the nominee, he can. But any such change cannot be called as alteration of memorandum of association.
By giving notice to the company, and the company shall intimate the same to the registrar. Any such change in the name of nominee shall not be deemed to be alteration of MOA.
Next one.
Limits. No person shall be eligible to incorporate more than one OPC.
Yes, if any person want to incorporate OPC, he can incorporate only one OPC.
Or become nominee in more than one OPC. Status of minor. Minor shall not become member or nominee.
So he cannot become member, he cannot become nominee also, even for beneficial interest.
Conversion of OPC. OPC cannot be incorporated or converted into a Section 8 company.
Yes, in case of Section 8 company, there are only two categories. Section 8 company, which is a private company. Section 8 company, which is a public company. What about Section 8 company, which is OPC? No, it is not possible because OPC cannot carry charitable activities.
However, it may be converted into a private or public company.
Yes, for normal private company, for normal public company, yes, it may get converted. There is no problem. But problem lies with Section 8 company.
OPC cannot carry out non-banking financial instrument investment activities, including investment in securities of any body corporate.
So body corporate means artificial person like companies. So is it possible for OPC to buy the shares of any other company? No. Is it possible for OPC to buy the debentures or bonds of any other company? No. Is it possible for OPC to buy the share of LLP firm? No, because LLP is also a body corporate.
If OPC or any officer of such company contravenes the provisions, they shall be punishable.
So those who fails to comply, only those people are liable for punishment. What is the punishment? Up to 10,000 plus up to 1,000 per day.
With fine which may be extended to the 10,000 and with further fine which may be extended to the 1,000 for every day after the first during which such contravention continues. Exemptions to the OPC. Exemption from holding the
So
AGM
first of all, here you need to remember the entire process which need to be followed by company for every year. So what is that process? So first, company will prepare financial statements. Later, board of directors will approve those financial statements, and thereafter auditor will audit those financial statements and he will give audit report, and thereafter board of directors will discuss about all matters that are occurred in the year, including audit report, and they will provide a report called as board report, and thereafter this audited financial statement. Next one, audit report, board report will be provided to shareholders in an AGM. Now in that AGM, shareholders need to approve the financials. After approval, that is after conclusion of meeting, within 30 days, company need to file those approved financial statements with ROC. Nothing but filing of financial statements. And within 60 days from the date of AGM, they need to forward non-financial data to ROC in the name of annual return.
financial statement and board's report can be signed only one director.
Yes, if OPC is having only one director, then who will sign on the board report? Only the director only. Next one.
Financial statement does not include cash flow statement.
Generally, financial statement includes P&L, balance sheet, cash flow, notes to account, statement of changes in equity. But in case of OPC, only 4. What about the last one? It is not applicable. That is cash flow statement. Next. Question number 4. Types of companies based on control. So here there are two categories of companies. One is holding subsidiary. Holding subsidiary. And other company is associate company. Associate company. Okay. First one, holding subsidiary. So when two companies are called as holding subsidiary, say for example, there is a company named as A Limited and there is other company named as B Limited. Now I want to make A Limited as holding company and B Limited as subsidiary company. So how is it possible? So this company, that is A Limited, need to hold more than 51%, more than or equal to, that is more than 50%. So more than or equal to 51% is for government company. So here it is more than 50%. Okay, more than 50% of what? Is it paid up equity share capital? Is it paid up preference share capital? It is voting power. So more than 50% of total voting power. So how to get total voting power? It depends upon number of shares. Say for example, one share is having one vote. Now this company is having 1 lakh shares. Now say, what is the total voting power? 1 lakh votes. So among 1 lakh votes, if any company is having more than 50,000 votes, then that company will be called as holding company and the other company will be called as subsidiary company. Okay. Now, A Limited holds only 40,000 votes. And A Limited is having a subsidiary called as small a limited. So this company is holding 20,000 shares. Nothing but 20,000 votes. Now say, can I call capital A Limited as holding company and B Limited as subsidiary company? But what is the exact holding of capital A Limited? Only 40%. It is not more than 50%. Then how can you say that A Limited, capital A Limited as holding company? Because while calculating this 50% of total voting power, we need to take the votes held by this company along with its subsidiaries. Okay, now I will ask a question. So capital A Limited, small a limited. Capital A Limited is holding. Small a limited is subsidiary. Now both these companies hold shares in B Limited. And the ratio is first one 60%, 0%. Second one 0%, 60%. Third one 40%, 20%. And last one 20%, 40%. So A Limited holds 60%, small a limited holds 0% in B Limited. Now I want to know which company is holding company here. Which A? Okay, very good. Capital Limited is the holding company. This situation is completed. Second one. Capital Limited holds nothing, but small a limited holds 60% in B Limited. Now for B Limited, which one is holding company? Is it capital A Limited or small a limited? Yes, it is capital A Limited only. Second situation completed. What about third one? Capital A. What about fourth one? Capital A. That means whatever the holding it may be. If the combined holding, not individual holding, if the combined holding exceeds 50%, then the main company among these two companies, what is that company? Capital A Limited. So the main company will become holding company. To which company? B Limited. So B Limited will become subsidiary company. So this is one way to create holding and subsidiary relation. There is one more way. So what is that one more way? So there are two companies, A Limited, B Limited. Now B Limited is having 10 directors. Is it possible to have 10 directors? First of all, what kind of company it was? Public company. In case of public company, minimum number of directors 3, maximum number of directors 15. That means it is within the limits only. Okay. Now A Limited is having a power. So what is that power? So A Limited can appoint or it can remove majority directors. That is, majority directors means out of 10, majority means 6. Yes, more than 5, 6. So it is having power to appoint or remove 6 directors of B Limited. That means this company is having control over this company. So that's why this company will be called as holding company and this company will be called as subsidiary company. So what is the difference between first point and second point? In first point, holding company is exercising direct control through shares. In second case, holding company is exercising indirect control through board of directors. Because if this company is able to control board of directors, then this board of directors will control B Limited. That means indirectly who is controlling B Limited here? A Limited. So in this way also you can create holding subsidiary relation. So what is the final conclusion now? So when a company will be called as holding company to other company? When the combined holding of that company along with its subsidiaries exceeds 50% of total voting power in the second company, then that company will be called as holding and second company will be called as subsidiary. If one company is having control over the composition of board of directors of another company, that is power to appoint or remove majority directors, then the first company will be called as holding company and the second company will be called as subsidiary company. Okay, one more question. So Amazon company LLC. So this is a company which is based in US and it is having subsidiary in India called as Amazon India Private Limited. So this is a wholly owned subsidiary of Amazon LLC which is based in US. Now I want to know, can I call Amazon LLC as holding company or not? So in this company 100% share capital is held by Amazon LLC only. Now my question is it possible to call this Amazon LLC as holding company or not? 100% of shares are held by Amazon. That means 100% voting power is available with Amazon company which is there in US. So can I call Amazon LLC as holding company? Yes or no? Okay. Roll number 12. Okay. Roll number 14. 20. So what is your answer? No. What is the reason? Okay. Why foreign company is not called as a company? But you are calling it as a foreign company. But now you are saying it is not a company. Not satisfactory. Okay, sit down. Roll number 30. 30. Yes, it is a foreign company. I too agree. Holding company. Okay, why it is called as holding company? 100% shares are held by Amazon LLC. That's why it is holding company. Okay, what is the exact definition of company? So here Companies Act or any other company law means company law which was there in India. Am I right or not? That means even though we are calling foreign company as a company, actually it is not a company as per Companies Act 2013. Yes, we are calling it as a company, foreign company, but actually it is not a company as per the definition. Then, even though it is not a company, how it will become holding company? Because according to company definition, it is not a company. So this is not a company, but this is a company. Why? This is incorporated in India in accordance with Indian company law. That's why this is a company as per the definition. But this is not a company. Then why this company will become holding company? Very simple answer. For the purpose of this section, company includes body corporate. So here it is a body corporate. Why it is called as body corporate? Any business organization created by law is called as body corporate. Whether it may be Indian law or foreign law, whatever it may be. So any business organization created by law will be called as body corporate. So this is a body corporate and this is a body corporate. This is Indian body corporate. This is foreign body corporate. Okay. So for the purpose of holding and subsidiary definition, company includes body corporates. So even though it is not a company as per our Companies Act, still we can call it as holding company. That means what is the final answer? Here Amazon LLC is holding company, even though it is not a company. Next one. Roll number 41. So A Limited is the main company it invest its money in 4 different companies. So for example, X, Y, Z, W, 4 different companies. So can I call all these 4 companies as subsidiaries to A Limited? It is holding 100%. Yes, it is possible. Okay. Next one. Now X is holding 100% shares in P Limited, Q Limited. Now for P Limited and Q Limited, which company will act like holding company? Is it A Limited or X Limited? A Limited. Sure. Okay. Now Q Limited is having 2 subsidiary companies. Say for example, A Limited, M Limited, N Limited. So for M Limited and N Limited, which one is holding company? Wait a minute. A Limited only. Okay. Is it correct answer? Is it correct answer? Next one. Now N company is having 2 subsidiaries. One is D Limited, other one is E Limited. Now what is the holding company for these 2 companies? A Limited. For all questions, answer is A Limited. Okay, sit down. So what is the answer here? So first of all, you need to know about a concept called as layers. So here, this is direct investment. So this will be classified as first layer. And a layer below first layer will be called as second layer. So this is second layer. And M and N companies, third layer. And finally, D and E companies, fourth layer. Now the point is, a company cannot have more than prescribed number of layers. I'm saying the rule. I'm not asking any question. So what is the rule? A company cannot have more than prescribed number of layers. Then what is prescribed here? It is 2. Now it is question. So a company cannot have more than 2 layers of subsidiaries. That means X, Y, Z, W are subsidiaries of A Limited because they are covered under first layer. P and Q are also subsidiaries of A Limited because they are covered under second layer. Then what about M and N? So it is not possible. What about D and E? It is not possible because a company can have maximum 2 layers. But there are some exceptions. Say for example, if you are doing a banking business, nothing but banking company or non-banking company. So what is the difference between banking company and non-banking company? So both will provide financial services only, like taking deposits, lending loans. But the difference is one is regulated by RBI by taking a tag called as bank. But others, they are not banks. They are not banks, but they will do financial services. So those organizations will be called as non-banking companies. Say for example, Bajaj Finserv. Is it a bank? No, but it is providing financial services like giving loans, consumer loans. So that's why it will be called as NBFC, non-banking financial company. So for banking companies and non-banking financial companies, so this limit is not applicable. So they can have n number of subsidiaries in n number of layers. Next one, associate company. So associate company. So when a company will be called as associate company, say for example, there are 2 companies, A Limited and B Limited. Okay, now I want to call A Limited as associate company to, sorry, B Limited as associate company to A Limited. So when it is possible? when this company is having significant influence over B Limited, then B Limited will be called as associate to A Limited. Sir, what is meant by significant influence? That is having at least 20% of total voting power or having participation in business decisions. So participation in business decisions, whatever it may be. So in this scenario, A Limited is having significant influence over B Limited. That's why B Limited will become associate company to A Limited. Okay. Next, there is one more way to create associate company relation. So this is first way, and the second way is when this company is a joint venture. When B Limited is a joint venture to A Limited, then B Limited will be called as associate company. What is meant by joint venture here? Hmm. Okay. Then what is the difference between joint venture and merger? Okay, I will ask an example. Vodafone Idea. Is it merger or joint venture? Hero Honda. Hero Honda. Joint venture. Hero Honda joint venture. So what you said is correct only, but Hero Honda is not, it is not a merger. It is a joint venture. So in case of joint ventures, there will be two parties. Party number 1 and party number 2. Now they will continue their business separately. And along with those businesses, they will start a new business that took combinedly. Now this combined business will be called as joint venture. So joint venture to first company, joint venture to second company. And these companies will be called as co-venturers. So co-venture, co-venturer. So these are co-venturers. And the combined entity started by those co-ventures will be called as joint venture. Now the point is, this joint venture is an associate company to first co-venturer. This joint venture company is an associate company to second co-venturer, because associate company includes joint venture also. So here it is joint venture. So this is Hero company, this is Honda company, and this is Hero Honda company. Okay. Now Hero Honda is a associate company for Hero company. So Hero Honda is associate company for Honda company also. Why? Because every joint venture will be a associate to its co-venturers. So that is another way to create associate company relation. So what is the first way? By having significant influence over the other company. What the second way? When second company is a joint venture to the first company. So then also it will be called as associate company. So having significant influence means having at least 20% of total voting power. At least means, so it is greater than or equal to. So greater than or equal to 20%. Or participation in business decision. Now finally, one more question. After this question, I will conclude the class. Now the point is, A Limited is holding 60% of shares in B Limited. Now I want to know the status of B Limited. Wait a minute. Is it subsidiary company or is it associate company? So think and answer. Is it subsidiary company or is it associate company? So why can't this company be called as associate company? Because it is having more than 20%. So here the point is, in definition of associate company, so it clearly indicates that we need to exclude subsidiary. So if there is any existing relation like holding subsidiary, then this definition is not applicable. So by taking this point also, we can say like this. So 20 to 50, what is the relation? So first company will remain as first company, nothing but investor company, and second company will be called as associate company. and from more than 50% to less than 100%, it will be called as subsidiary company. What happens if it is 100%? Then it will be called as wholly owned subsidiary company. Is it possible to have a wholly owned subsidiary company? How is it possible? Because for a company, there must be at least two persons. There must be at least two persons. If it is a private company, if it is a public company, there must be at least 7 persons. Then how a entity can hold 100% shares? Very simple. Okay, I will say the answer. So, say for example, Reliance company. Reliance company is there. So, Reliance Jio. In Reliance Jio, 100% shares are held by Reliance Industries Limited. Let's take an example like that. Actually, now the percentage is not 100%, it is already reduced. Okay, let's take just an example. So, Reliance Industries Limited is holding 100% shares in Reliance Jio. Then, Reliance Jio is a public company. If 100% shares are held by Reliance Industries Limited, then how many members are there in that company? Only one, that is Reliance Industries Limited. Is it possible? No. Being a public company, there must be at least 7%. Now what they will do? Say for example, if number of shares are 1 lakh, then 99,994 shares will be held by Reliance Industries Limited. And that balance 11111 share will be held by some other persons who are acting on behalf of Reliance Industries Limited. Nothing but agents of Reliance Industries Limited. So that total number of members will be 7. And moreover, why you are calling as Reliance Industries Limited as wholly holding company? Because if I hold the shares, those shares belong to me. If my agent hold the shares, those shares also belongs to me only. That means what is the total holding of Reliance Industries Limited? Direct holding 99,994. Indirect holding through agents, balance 6 shares. Total 1 lakh shares. That's why now Reliance Jio can be called as wholly owned subsidiary to Reliance Industry Limited. Okay. Let's close the session. If anyone is having any doubt, ask me now. You can come here.